Hello, everybody. Welcome to our CakeFu Master Series. I'm Amelia Carbine, and I am your host. I'm really happy that you guys are here today. Hopefully this new system works out well for us, and hopefully you guys can get the information across that we're bringing to you. Today we have a really awesome guest. I had the chance of meeting Kerri Morris a few weeks ago at the Austin show, That Takes the Cake. And I even got to be her roommate for the weekend. It was really fun.
Hello.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I was really glad to actually get to finally meet Kerri and kind of just rub shoulders with her a little bit. And she's super talented. It just the cake that she entered was spectacular, and
Thank you.
yeah, it even had. Oh, my brain has lost it. What's the
String work.
Yeah, not the string work. I have totally lost it. The white stuff. The
Pastillage.
pastillage. Oh my gosh.
Pastillage
I'm like, it starts with a P.
yeah.
Starts with a P. What is it? Yes, pastillage. Maybe we'll have to have you come on and do a pastillage training one time. That would be really
That
cool.
would be really good.
That would be really fun. So anyway, she's very well educated in the world of cake, and so we're really glad to have Kerri with us. So welcome, Kerri.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's start off with a little bit of an introduction of you, how you got started, you know, where you broke into the business and your accolades and things like that. So let's start off with how did you find cake decorating?
I started off probably like most cake decorators, just baking for my kids. You know, I wanted them to have amazing birthday cakes, and nobody, you know, was good enough to do something that I wanted. So, of course, I thought, I can do it myself.
Awesome. That's so cool. I really think most people do start out that way. So it's
so
fun
too.
to hear. Yeah, it's fun to hear of the people that are really successful, that have gone very far in the business, and that's how they started. You know, it wasn't a career plan. It was just, hey, I can do this.
Completely by accident.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fun to hear of. Okay, so you have you've made some pretty good, a pretty good name for yourself. You want to talk about your business that you started and awards that you've won, things like that?
Yeah, so the name of my business is Something Sweet, and I pretty much make anything that doesn't look like a cake. That's kind of what I call my specialty. And I have racked up a couple of accolades. This last year, I finally decided, you know what, I'm good enough, and I took the leap and I started competing. I've never entered a cake show before until That Takes the Cake in Austin last year. And I jumped in with 2 entries, and both of those entries ended up placing. So this last year has just really been awesome. So anybody that's afraid to take the jump to compete, don't. Just do it.
I agree completely 100%. I mean, I have a very similar story. I entered a cake in a little tiny local competition at a little fair, and then my next step was Tulsa. So I mean, I just had to see. I know. I kind
Jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
Me too.
But you know what? It was so worth it. I mean, 3rd runner-up and 4th runner-up in the wedding division in Tulsa. I mean, it was.
That is awesome.
If you really want to know where you stand as a cake decorator, competing is so the way to go. And That Takes the Cake show is a really good one. I really like that one.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
It's a great learning experience.
Yeah, and you did something with the Busch Gardens last year. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I did. Yeah. So James Parker organized this event with Busch Gardens for the Food and Wine Festival, and I was teamed up with Mimi Hood, which is now, she's my yang. Can you see it? Look.
Yep.
So now we have our nickname for each other is Yin and Yang. So now we're like joined at the hip. But that experience was really cool. We got to create edible art outside at Busch Gardens in Virginia. And we're going to be doing it again this year, and we get 2 weekends this year. So that's two chances to, come up with something amazing. But just to interact with all of the guests that were there, that was just such an amazing experience.
That is really, really cool. I think being able to do things like that and, competing and, just getting yourself out there in the cake world, it's just, I think it's so good for the community, and I think it's also good for, yourself as an individual to,
It is. It really pushes you.
It does. It really does. It helps you grow, and it helps you see where you stand in the cake world, So I think it's
absolutely.
I think it's great. So, and you know what? That's one thing I really love about CakeFu is that we really have a community that there's people that are here every single week, and it's wonderful. I just love it. I really do. So the cake world is small enough that that we can all rub shoulders and hang out together, but it's also big enough that there's always room for more. So it's really cool.
There's always room for more.
Of course, of course. Well, and today is more. We are introducing a product that Kerri's going to demonstrate, and it is so cool. I know I've seen it before around, but I never really did give it much of a thought, but it's called Composite Mold, and it's a really cool product because you can actually remelt it and reuse it as a new mold. A lot of times we will either custom order or custom make a mold, and it ends up that we use it once, and then it sits in our little bins and stuff.
You never use it again.
Right. Exactly. So, this is why I am just in love with the composite mold idea. And before we get started with the demonstration, again, I want to remind you guys that there is a giveaway for this composite mold. Let's pull up the link here again for you. Oh, that's the long one. You want this one? Okay. Let it clear up for a second. And then, so if you want to enter the giveaway, you're going to have to follow this link, cakefu.com/composite mold -giveaway. And so that is going to get you guys on there so that you can enter the giveaway. It's also in the chat screen. So make sure that you guys go ahead and enter. You have until the hour to enter, and then after that we will pick our winners. So there you go. And also we will be giving you a link in just a little bit on where you can actually go to purchase the composite mold. We have added it to our CakeFu marketplace, which is super cool. Go check it out. Check out the whole marketplace, but definitely check out this composite mold. It is cool stuff. So
it's amazing stuff,
isn't it? I was like super excited about it.
It is. Me too.
All right. Well, Kerri, we will let you take over on the demonstration, and go from there.
Sounds good. So this is the composite mold that Amelia was talking about. It comes in this little container, and what I really like is the instructions are on the top. So even if you forget, oh, how long was I supposed to put that in there for? Like, that was brilliant. Just put the instructions on the top. So when you get your composite mold, it is, because I'm the first person saying, oh, where did I put those instructions at? So it comes in the 10 and the 20 ounce container, and I think they have one larger than that. But this 20 ounce is perfect. It goes really, really far. And the one thing, like Amelia said, that's amazing is the fact that you can reuse this. If you've got that one bride that is just insistent that you put that brooch on her cake, you don't want to spend all of the money to make a silicone mold. And with the composite mold, you make your mold, you give the brooch back to your bride, and then you use what you need it for, and then you remelt it. And that way you don't have the extra expense. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you money. It's definitely worth the investment, the very small investment that it is. This is going to be the one thing that you are definitely going to get your money's worth from. The one thing about the composite mold, though, you don't need to heat it over 200 degrees. When you melt it, you can melt it in the microwave, or you can melt it over a double boiler. If I'm going to be using them a lot, what I like to do is set up my griddle or a hot plate and then just put it in one of your little Pyrex measuring cups. And this is the color that it looks. It's sort of like an amber color. And believe it or not, it sort of smells like oranges. It has sort of a citrus smell to it. But that way it's going to keep it nice and warm. But you can use chocolate in this. You can use gum paste. You can use fondant. You can use isomalt if it's cooled very, very well. But you can't just pour hot isomalt in it because obviously that's just going to melt your mold and destroy it. Trust me, I've found that out. Ask me how I know this. So the way that you use it is so super easy. You can use any kind of container that you can find. Anything that is heat safe. I like to use the little clear glass heat safe dishes. If you don't have a dish that's the right size, like this one, you know, that's just one of the little Rubbermaid heat safe dishes. You can also use a really expensive piece of tin foil and just make you a little. You can. I mean, it's so economical. It's not even funny. That's why I tell you, you will definitely get your money's worth out of this.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you can totally make whatever size container you need with, you know, your tin foil. So let me just show you real quick the easy process that this takes. So we're going to use, I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So we're gonna take our little bowl that we've made, and then we're gonna do some change. How many times have you tried to make money? It's not an easy thing to do. So this, you can just put all your money or whatever you want to mold into your bowl, but you need to secure it to the bottom. So the way we're going to secure it is just with a tiny little piece of clay. You can use clay, you can use hot glue, you can use whatever you can find.
Probably like some double-sided tape would probably work.
Yeah, just something that's not gonna keep your material from moving around. Because when you go to pour your composite mold on the top, you don't want your pieces shifting around, so it just needs to secure it. So my composite mold is already heated up, and if you don't want to wear gloves, just sort of like grab it with a towel or something so you don't burn yourself. And it's just as simple as, oh, let's spray it. You don't have to spray it, but just so to be on the safe side, just give it a little spray of either Pam or canola oil, just some sort of material, spray. You know, some non-stick spray. And then we're just going to pour it right on top. That's it. And you want to make sure that it's all covered.
So how sturdy is this? Can you like bend it and break it in half, or is it really flexible?
It's flexible, but it's sturdy in the same sense. You don't have to worry about breaking it. That's for sure. Okay. So you can help speed the process along by sticking it in the refrigerator or the freezer. It's not going to hurt it at all. So I've got a little ice chest here that's right beside me. Now, let me show you one that I did with this little monkey. This little monkey was actually a finial off of my lamp, but I thought, he is so stinking cute. So I took, yeah, isn't he adorable? I mean, he's just precious. So what I did, I took one of my dishes, one of my measuring cups, because it ended up being the perfect size. They have composite mold in them right now, so I can't show you. But I anchored the little monkey into the bottom of the Pyrex cup, and then he sat in there like this, and then I poured the composite mold over the top of it. And when it came out, it looked like this. So then you have this big mold. And to get it out, if you've got it like a big piece, you can take your X-Acto knife and just slice down so you can get it out.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And then you just open it up. So you've got your cavities. You can slice all the way down and make it a complete 2-part mold, but as long as your piece comes out, it's not going to matter. So after I pulled
Do you
the piece that I
prefer to
molded
keep
out,
it together?
I think it's easier. That way you don't have to really worry about it lining up because you know your bottom's going to automatically be lined up. But it goes together, I mean, very, very well. And when you get ready to mold it, all you have to do is just take a piece of clear tape or any kind of tape, really, and tape it closed. Now, for this one, I'm going to pour chocolate in it. So this is just melted white chocolate. And if your chocolate is just a little bit warm, you don't want it like super hot. So if your chocolate's a little warm, you could place your mold into the refrigerator so your mold would be cold.
Okay. You really don't want to get chocolate that warm anyway, right?
No, you really don't. You don't.
So but it does work with chocolate.
It does. It works fabulous with chocolate, actually. So the way I like to do it, if it's a big mold, is to fill it really slow and then tap it down. You want to make sure that every little nook and cranny gets filled with the chocolate. And the one thing that I really like about Composite Mold is if you make your mold and you see, oh, I didn't actually get every little crack in once you make your first piece, you just remelt it and make it over. So once you get all of your air bubbles and stuff in there, stick it in the refrigerator.
Okay.
And that way it's going to firm up. And then when you take it out, there you've got your little monkey.
How fun.
Can you see how perfect it is? I mean, it got all of the details. Can you see all of the details?
It's really hard to see. Like, the picture is pretty pixely. If you hold it really still for a minute, then it might clear up and they can see it. So you can see some of the detail.
Did that help?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, and then, of course, you could dust this with your dust from the sugar art, which are wonderful. So, another one that I've done before is this Cameo. And this Cameo was my grandmother's Cameo.
Aww.
So, I thought, oh, that would be really pretty on a cake. So, I made the composite mold just like I did before, and I actually stuck it in the bottom of one of the clear glass dishes with a little clay. Stuck it in there, sprayed it, poured the composite mold on top, and then this is what I ended up with.
So you weren't worried at all about, messing up your...
No, not worried at all.
That's good.
No, we did. Yeah, it was great. But can you see the details of the Cameo?
I can see.
And the perfect thing is, the perfect thing is, okay, I used this for what I needed it for. Now let's remelt it and make something else.
Exactly. That is the best part about this composite mold. I am just seriously loving the idea of this because it really is economical because you can reuse it and reuse it and reuse it. Does it ever get to a point where you need to buy more?
If you've got a mold that you really don't want to part with, you may have to buy more. But I mean, it lasts forever. I don't know that, Sam didn't tell me if there was actually like a shelf life of it. Can you only use it so many times? But this 120-ounce jar, I've used it so much the last week, it's not even funny.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So you can even do little buttons. If you've got little buttons that you need to make details for a cake for, make your buttons. Use it for what you need it for, and remelt it into something else. Now, how many of you have ever done Legos? Oh, my goodness. You know how much Legos are a pain in the you-know-what. And then you've you've got the little tires too. So you could
Mm-hmm.
totally use this for that one Lego cake that you've got this week. And just stick your clay to the bottom, into the bottom of your dish.
Oh, I like the little alligator too. That's cute.
I know I rated my daughter's toy cabinet.
Nice. Very nice.
Every cake decorator knows that they've rated their kids' toys, right?
Yep.
You know what else you could do? You could make the Barbie doll head. You could totally use this to make Barbie's head. How cool would that be? You don't have to sculpt it anymore. You just make a mold out of Barbie's head and be done with it. So I hope I have enough composite mold left
to fill it all the way up.
To fill it up, yeah. Not going to quite be enough.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah. But you know what? If it's not enough, you can take, when I finish with some of these other molds, I can remelt it and pour it over the top of it.
So will it stick after this is all set and you pour more on top of it? Will it stick and stay firm?
It will. It will.
Okay.
The heat from the next that you pour on top of it, the heat will kind of bond it together. So yeah, that should be really fine. Another thing that you can use is scrapbook embellishment. If you want to use like letters, if you want to make like a custom banner, you can totally do letters and stuff with that. They have some really super cute scrapbook letters. So you could spell the name out into your box that you're going to use for molding. Make your mold, and then you've got a custom nameplate for whatever cake that you want.
That's really cool.
So when you finish with that, you just remelt it into something else. Just remember, when you're doing letters, you want to face it with the right side up. So when you make the mold, it's going to come out right. Don't flip it over and do the opposite side. You want to mold it with the letters facing right.
Okay. That's a good tip. But you know, if you screw up, just melt it and do it again, right?
You just melt it and do it again. Exactly right. Exactly right. It's like you get a do-over.
That is really cool.
Who doesn't love do-overs?
That's really cool. I had a question. Sorry, I had a question. I can't think of it, so go ahead.
It usually takes, depending on how thick the mold is, it usually takes maybe 20 minutes for the shallow mold. If it's a thicker mold, like the one we did for the monkey, that's going to take a little bit longer. It's going to need to set for probably 30 to 45 minutes in the refrigerator or the freezer. You can totally put it in the freezer too. Yeah, don't be scared to put it in the freezer. So that speeds up the process a little bit.
Okay, that's really good to know. Okay, so is it possible to do... okay, so when it gets warm, it melts, right? So if you do something really warm, is it going to be a problem?
If you do something that...
like say, isomalt.
Yeah, you can use isomalt if you use it when it's a little bit cool. You don't want to use it when it's first started to melt. But if you wanted to let it cool and you wanted to press it into the mold, that would totally work.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So, trying to think. So it works with fondant, I'm guessing.
It does. It does. It works with fondant. It works with gum paste. And I just took the ones out. This was the money that we did. So it's ready to go. Like you can put your fondant in there. You can put your gum paste. You can put whatever you want to. And you've got, all of your money right there.
Very cool. All right, and we have a question about allergens and food safe. Is it specifically food safe? Are the ingredients listed on the package so we know if allergens would be covered?
Let's see. He sends you, it is all natural and biodegradable. And it is FDA regulated, food safe.
All right. And does it have a list of ingredients on it, or?
I don't think it has a list of ingredients, but I'm sure if you had any questions, you could email Composite Mold. Stan and his family are super nice people.
Yes, they are. They're great people. Really, really
they
nice
are. They're
to work
really
with.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sure that that you could definitely get your information. Okay, here's my question.
Yes.
I remembered it. Okay, so what if you wanted to make a mold and then keep it? Is that possible with composite mold?
You could keep it. I would just keep it, in a sealed container or either in a Ziploc bag or something. But yeah, you could totally keep it. The only thing you don't want to do is to leave it in water because it will break down if it gets in water. So don't let it sit in water. It's okay to wash it off as long as you dry it really good with a paper towel or a towel or something. But the water will break it down.
Okay. Okay. Someone is asking where can we buy it? And I'm going to give you guys a link right here. Oh, it goes off the page. Dang it.
Take the marketplace, of course.
Of course. It's CakeFu.com product-category/composite mold. It goes off the page. -FC. Sorry, -FC. We'll put it up in the chat box, and so you can you can look in the chat box and find the link for it there. But there's all the 3 different sizes of packaging for it. So you can get, there's a 10 ounce, there's a 20 ounce, and then there's a 40 ounce package of it. So
yeah, and this one was the 20, and you can see that's a really good size.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've bought mold making stuff before, and a little goes a long way. It really does.
It does.
So yeah, I actually don't have any composite mold yet, but I've seen it demonstrated.
Really?
I know. I need to get some, but
the problem with it is you want to mold everything that you see because you want to say, oh, I wonder if I can do that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's that simple. He does have a video. If anybody's interested in the video, they do make a video that kind of shows you everything that you can do because it's not just for food. It's definitely food safe, but I mean, I know a lot of people use it for scrapbooking. I think in the video he shows even how they use concrete, mold concrete with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, to make
cool.
The big concrete cast. Yeah, so there's definitely tons of possibilities with this stuff. But I think it's pretty much the answer to a lot of people's prayers for the cake world because you're not going to have that expense anymore. You're going to have that upfront investment of like $20.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Okay, someone is asking, what is bubble spray used for? Not sure what bubble spray is.
It's the
is that
the non-stick spray.
Okay,
yeah.
So a non-stick spray. I've never heard it called bubble spray before.
I haven't either, but sometimes when you spray it, it does kind of look like bubbles.
I don't know.
Just if you're afraid of it sticking to whatever you're molding. The chocolates, if you're molding chocolates, you don't need to do it. But like when you're doing the monkey, if you don't want that to stick to your monkey, then you may want to spray it. You don't have to, but I definitely would if you have, especially when it has all of the little details. You don't want the composite mold sticking to those little details. So just give them a little spray.
Okay, very good. All right, so someone's asking, have you tried it with like porcelain or china or crystal or glass?
I've actually done a shot glass, and it molded fantastic. I broke it down just like I did for the monkey mold into 2 pieces, and that's how I know that hot isomold does not work because it totally did melt it. But I thought, how cool would that be if you could make that isomold shot glass? But yes, it will work with glass. Okay,
good. I would think that any kind of product that's not too porous would work just fine, right?
Right. And actually, I molded this S, and it's wood from the scrapbooking section, and it came off just fine.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah. I wasn't afraid to use my grandmother's Cameo, so.
that's
I feel
good
like
too.
It's pretty safe for anything. Yeah.
Well, because I know that a lot of people, they want to use or a piece that is special to them, you know, and
Right.
you know, yeah. What about something like lace? Do you think lace would work with this?
I do think lace would work with this, and I've actually talked to Stan about it. You may want to build the bottom of it up with clay a little bit, so when you make your clay base, I wanted to try it, but I couldn't find a piece of lace that would work. But if you build it up on your clay first, and then cut your clay around it, and then pour your composite mold over the top, I totally think you can get a thick enough piece to make your own lace mold.
Okay, cool.
I think that would work.
All right, and then I have a kind of a personal question for you. I'm not sure who asked it because Bobby sent it to me, but it says, "Ask Kerri, is she always this pretty?"
Oh, thank you.
Yes, she is. I stayed with her.
She was my roommate. She saw.
That's right. I was her roommate, so I know. She is always this pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So then someone is asking. I'm not sure if this is a question for CakeFu or for you, but maybe we can both answer the question. Are you on Pinterest?
I am on Pinterest.
Awesome.
I don't know what my name is though. I never use it. But I have tons of pictures on my Facebook page. My website I don't update as often as Facebook, but yeah, Facebook is definitely my go-to place.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'm on Pinterest as well, and we do have a CakeFu Pinterest account. I'm not the best at updating that one, but if you find my personal one, there's tons of stuff on it.
Good.
So,
yeah, good.
All right. Let's see. Do you have to spray or powder the mold before adding fondant or whatever material you're using?
Don't powder the mold. If you're going to do anything, you can spray it. It's not going to hurt if you don't spray it with fondant, but don't powder it at all. Definitely. If you're going to do anything, spray it. But you don't have to.
What would the powder do? What will it do to the mold?
I don't know, but I haven't tried it.
Okay.
Just because Stan has always said to use the spray. The powder may make it gunky. Does that make sense? Is that a proper word, gunky?
Yeah. Well, I think over time, maybe it would break down the composite mold. I don't know.
Well, that's what I wondered, if it may break it down. I just think the oil would be the best thing. And if you don't have any spray oil, you can totally use like Crisco, just smear it over the top of whatever you're molding. And that's, it would come out pretty easy.
Okay.
Like here's one of the buttons that I just did. Okay.
Oh, at the beginning, it's already done?
Yeah, it's already done. So you can see the clay is still on the back of it. And you just pop it out. Can you see it? So now you've got your cavity. So if you wanted that mold to be sort of like more three-dimensional instead of just a flat button, you could leave that lip around the bottom, and your button would be sort of raised up off of your cake.
Oh, cool.
I can grab some gum paste. I don't have any sitting over here by me, but I can grab some. But if you want it to be just flat, then you can take a pair of scissors and you can trim this off. Or you can take your X-Acto knife if you're not scared of poking yourself, like me.
Okay.
But yeah, that's how easy it is.
Very cool. And that set up really fast. That's really cool.
Yeah, it does. I had it sitting in a little cooler with some ice in it, so it would help set up faster. But yeah, this is a pretty thin mold. So it, 10, 15 minutes and it's done.
Okay, so obviously if it's in a, if it's a bigger mold, bigger container, you would want to, it would need to set longer. Yeah. Right.
The monkey, like I said, it set up about 45 minutes in the refrigerator.
Okay. Very cool. All right, so back to the powder and spray thing. You really don't really need that, though, do you?
You don't. You don't. Let me grab some font. Hold on.
Okay. For those of you that are interested, again, I think there is a link in the chat on where you can go to purchase this, and it's on our CakeFu marketplace, which is really cool. It's really nice to be able to promote the products and the people that actually come on, and I think that's one really cool thing that CakeFu is able to offer. So, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so all you do is just press it in, and if it's one that you're really has a lot of details and you're worried about distorting them, put them in the refrigerator for just a few minutes, or the freezer. I know a lot of people probably know that, but some people, if they've never used a lot of molds before, may not know that makes unmolding something with lots of details so much easier. 5 minutes in the freezer, and when you pop it out, it doesn't distort. So
yeah,
we'll just stick that in there with the eye.
That definitely is important. Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely important. This was the quarter that we had, and I didn't put it in the freezer, so you may not be able to see it. Yeah, you won't be able to see it. We'll have to wait for this one to set up.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing that I did notice. I went and judged a competition in San Diego last week, and it's the San Diego Confections for a Cause. Really great show too. If you're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Want to go to, but yeah, I was judging that competition, and a lot of the cakes that had molds on them, you could tell that they were pulling them out of the molds really, just wet and soft.
Right.
And so if you stick those in the freezer for a few minutes, or even just let them sit for a few minutes, then they have a chance to kind of set. And
they do. They get a little hard.
Yeah. Then you can work with them, and you don't have to worry about smashing them or messing it up as you're pulling it out, that kind of thing. So, yeah, definitely let your molds set a little bit first.
Yeah, the piece that I did for Austin had several molds that I used around the edges, and it literally took like 2 minutes in the freezer, and it made a completely huge difference in trying to get them out of the mold, especially when it's tiny little details. If it's a big mold, you might can get away with it, but if it's something with lots of tiny little details, you definitely want to stick in the freezer.
Definitely. You'll be happy with the results a lot more. So.
You sure will, definitely.
Oh, okay. That question about you always being pretty, it was from Mimi.
She's so funny.
There you go. Hi, Mimi.
She's trying to embarrass me.
All right. Let's see. Says, would this be good for metal, clay, as long as you keep it separate from composite mold, food-safe materials when recycling?
I definitely would not use it back in food if you used it for clay. If you're going to use it, if you have the intention of using it for clay, have it two separate things. Like don't use the same one. You can use clay after you've used food, but don't go back and use food after you've used clay in it.
Yeah, so if you're going to be using other non-food materials, I would suggest getting multiple packages of the composite mold and keep them separate. You don't.
But it's so inexpensive. The 10 ounces, how much? Do you know how much the 10 ounces is going to sell for?
10 ounce. I should know because it's in the marketplace. I can look it up right now for you. Here, let me.
Trick question.
I know, right? Okay. Let me pull it up here. Should be on the first page. Okay. Hang on. I will get to it. Okay. It's loading. Okay, the 10 ounce is $15.30, and the 20 ounce is $25, and then the 40 ounce is $34.98. These are sale prices that are on the So yeah, the regular price is also on there. I think it's 21 for the composite mold 10 ounce. But I mean that's a really decent price for something that you
Right.
can reuse and reuse and reuse. So
It's so versatile.
yeah, it's definitely worth the investment, I think, which isn't much of an
I think it
investment
is too.
anyway.
20
Yeah,
bucks.
awesome. Okay.
It would be really good for a lot of the steampunk molds. You know, people are doing a lot of the steampunk cakes. You could totally go to the hardware store or, whatever and get lots of the gears and stuff for your steampunk cakes. That would be really cool.
Oh, that would be really, really cool. I mean, seriously, molds, you can go just about any direction. It just is.
Any direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Okay, someone is asking, can you color it?
Can you color the composite mold? I don't think so. I'm not sure why you would want to.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the actual mold material, so it's not ever going to be on
Right.
a cake or displayed anywhere. So I don't know why
Right.
you would ever need to color it. I guess maybe if you really wanted to
If you wanted to keep it separate from.
yeah, I was thinking maybe if you had a food safe one, or one for food, one for non, maybe if you colored it for, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe.
Don't know. If you try it, let us know.
I will. I definitely will.
All right. Good question. I don't know if you'll have the answer to this, but it says, will areas with high humidity affect the mold? Would you just keep it colder or frozen to use?
Well, I live in Texas, so we have pretty high humidity,
You
and
do.
I haven't had any problems. If you're concerned, definitely keep it in the refrigerator or the freezer though, to keep it cold.
Okay. Okay. So humidity really
But
shouldn't
it's
be a
really,
problem.
it shouldn't. But it's really flexible. I mean, it's firm, but it's still flexible at the same time.
And that's good, because I mean, a lot of people that's why we buy the silicone molds and things like that because they're flexible. So
Right.
yeah. All right. Can it be? Ooh, that's a pretty good question. Like actual. Okay. Can it be used on leaves and flowers? I'm guessing that they're meaning actual leaves and actual flowers.
I would think as long as the flower that you're molding is not poisonous, you may be okay. But
Mhm.
that's a really good question.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would want to try because you can't really wash it really good. Like you can't scrub it after you've molded. So
Hmm.
I would just be real careful with that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, and how hot is it when you mold it? Does it get really hot?
Well, you want to keep it under 200 degrees.
Oh, okay. So it really isn't that hot. I was thinking would it like,
No,
scorch or
no.
make it wilt
Mm-mm.
or something.
Between what? I think it melts at 180, but you want to keep it between 180 and 200. That's why I like to melt it on my griddle. They say if you're going to melt it in the microwave, to melt it for like a couple of minutes and then stir it really good, sort of like when you're doing chocolate.
Okay. Someone's asking about how cold can this get? I guess they get down to
You
about
can
40
freeze it.
below, so
Yeah.
you can freeze it and it should be
Wow.
safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You can totally freeze it.
All right. All right. And then I would imagine that high temperatures would probably not be that great, or would it be okay? You probably
As
don't want it in
they
direct
say to keep
sunlight.
it. As long as it's not more than 200, because it's going to melt at 180. That's when it's going to start to melt.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that in your regular, just
In
about
your normal
any,
house, I think you're fine.
yeah, yeah. I would probably say keep it out of your window, like in direct light, because the direct light is more condensed. It just might
Right.
melt it.
Right.
So out of direct sunlight. I don't know. We will put up a link in the chat box again, and that is www.cakefu.com. Oh, let me scroll up to it. /product-category /composite mold -FC. I know that's kind of long, but it is in the chat box. And when we post it to the CakeFu website, we're going to post this to the CakeFu website, and it will be on YouTube. We will provide links to that as well, so you should be able to get through it or get to it above the video. On the CakeFu page, and then on YouTube down below in the chat or in the description area, we will have links available, so you guys can go and get your composite mold. So awesome!
I can't wait for everybody to try it out. It's such an amazing product.
It really is. I am so excited about it. I really am. So yeah, thank you so much, Kerri, for coming and demonstrating that for us. And again, we will have you back on, and we will do some stuff. So, because you're really
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kerri. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. And I hope you guys have some really cool ideas going in your heads for things that you can mold and cakes you can make and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so one other thing that I forgot to tell them that you can do, the scrapbooking papers, that are textured, those can totally be used for texture sheets.
You can, that's genius. You can melt it down and make a texture mat.
You can make a texture mat with it. And one thing that I haven't tried yet, because I've been working on my piece for Virginia, but I want to try it with burlap. Because that way we can have a burlap texture sheet. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be really cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. So don't just let your imagination stop with just things that you have laying around. Think outside of the box. Think right.
Cool.
Yeah. Think big.
That's so cool. Well, thank you so much, and again, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
And we will see you guys all next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.